Hey everybody, we are in day 46 and we're starting a new gospel today, Mark 1 through 3 and Psalm 46. And what a great gospel this is. Now we're looking at Jesus from the angle not as king but as servant. And Mark is writing it, thought to be a companion of Peter, and so this is written to a Roman audience, but really the idea is that the apostle who most gave these stories was Peter to Mark, who wrote him. Mark, interestingly, had a bad beginning. He was the reason that Paul and Barnabas in the book of Acts ended their missionary companionship relationship because they disagreed on whether Mark was the right person for that journey. And instead of being bitter about that chapter, Mark stayed in the faith and got stronger and matured, and now we see him writing this gospel. It is a fast gospel. Mark could have been an ER doctor. He just goes from room to room to room and tells all that Jesus has done, and he points to the miracles and the great things that Jesus did as a sign that he is God. In fact, the only place in the gospel where he says what he thinks about God is in chapter 1, verse 1, the beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. That is the only place where he actually says that he's the Son of God. The rest of the book is just him proving it through the massive amount of miracles. 39 times in the book he uses the word immediately, creating a sense of urgency, and we see it right from the get-go. Many of the stories that we've already read about in Mark are here, but succinctly and shorter. Love chapter 1, verse 35 through 39. Take some time and meditate on it. Jesus goes all night to pray in an era and a time when everybody had started to see the miracles. So the next morning, the disciples find him and say, "Come, everyone's looking for you. They want you." And instead of succumbing to the crowd, the massive followers, Jesus steps back and says, "Hey, I'm going to the next towns because I'm here to accomplish this purpose." And he's not influenced by this desire to put him on a pedestal because he knows who he is. He's functioning out of the confidence that he is the Son of God, loved by God, beloved, and he does not need the approval of man. Many great stories there. The end of chapter 3, of course, is powerful too. His family comes. Remember, his family did not believe who he was outside of maybe Mary and Joseph, but his brothers did not believe that he was God until later after his death. And so people are pointing to them and saying, "Hey, what about your family?" And he reminds us again that there is a family that supersedes our earthly family, and it is our spiritual family. And these are hard words, but Jesus demonstrated how that works out. He loved them. He never disrespected them, but he was focused in his priorities. I wrote this for today's big idea. The authority of Jesus is undisputed. When he speaks, people listen. Demons flee, the sick are healed, and critics are silenced. And we see this pattern in the first 3 chapters where Jesus is different. He's walking with confidence and authority. This is more than just confidence. He knows who he is. He's been called by God, chosen by God. He is God in the flesh, and no one disagrees. Even though they don't understand him, even though they criticize him, everyone bows to him. And let's worship this servant king of ours as we meditate on who he is.